Hello, I'm John from the Haunt Informer, and today I have a very special guest. I have Ari, the first Jason from Friday the 13th.
John, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm great.
Wow, you got the first Jason shirt on there
Yes,
that
yes,
you
I do.
got at Love Drafts in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yes,
Yes, it's me, Ari Lehman, rhymes with demon, the very first Jason Voorhees, the boy in the lake Jason from
yes,
Friday the 13th. And it's an honor to be here on Haunt Informer.
yes,
So make sure you get informed out there about everything, especially the haunts.
yes,
And yeah, I'm particularly happy that you came and saw us
yes.
at, because you know, not to sound like anything, but lots of people are asking me all the time, "Hey, man, get on my blog," but they don't always show up at my show and get a
Uh,
shirt. Okay,
okay, okay,
that makes all the difference in the world.
okay.
That personal connection.
Yes,
That's why I love playing music for people. But of course, there's the connection with the movie. So therefore, that's why all of the songs are about Jason.
yes. Awesome. So my first question for you is, have you been to any haunted attractions before?
Oh wow! So you really are a haunt informer.
Yes,
So this is about haunts.
yes.
Okay, I was see now I'm better informed.
Okay.
And I okay, it says it's being recorded. Okay. I am a big yes. I Let me tell you, John, now that I can wow, we got tons to talk about because
Awesome.
the connection between uh haunts all over this country and very formidable charitable organizations is a tradition that goes back in America for so many decades. It's an interesting thing
Yes,
because you've got people scaring the pants off each other and
yes,
then taking the money they make, not always, but
yeah.
in a lot of cases,
Mhm.
and giving it to charity or giving it to a local organization, or it could be for schools or all kinds of organizations. So I love that aspect of the haunt industry. And I just worked at a haunt in Kentucky
Okay.
that was run by none other than the Kentucky Colonels themselves, which is a Masonic brethren kind of
Okay.
thing, and
Okay.
they do so much for the community, like Shriners and all that stuff. So
Okay.
so that's I think that's one cool aspect of it, but I have appeared at so many amazing haunts in
Wonderful.
this country, from Niagara Falls all the way out to gosh, there's one near Omaha
Nebraska.
who gave me my banner. Where's my banner? I have a banner, and that's Haunted House of Hell.
Okay.
And forget it. We just did one in Boston that was so amazing. What was that one called? Oh, I'm gonna have to search my memory banks. But the thing I admire about the haunts, and what is that one? Oh, I've got to mention the one in up in Buffalo that we just did. I'm gonna have to get my calendar out to look and see, because I got to remember all the names. But
Nice.
what I love about haunts
Mhm.
is that you've got the volunteers who are so wonderful and so creative, and
Yes.
they call upon so much within themselves. And as you know, it's a challenge to be a haunt actor, to
Yes.
be sitting there waiting, in the dark, and not always the most comfortable
Yeah.
situation,
Yes.
and to call upon your character, and to have, the physicality and sometimes the voice and so many things that an actor needs. But
Yes.
now an actor in the movies the director says cut, and the director says action. Okay. But
Okay.
in a haunt, there's no cut. It's
No.
just action
Yes.
the whole time. So I admire them so much. And I've seen some people, in many ways, when you do a movie, I
Mhm.
mean, gosh, when I was little Jason Voorhees,
Yes.
we sure had so much fun. And there was a spirit of the haunt, especially in that final sequence where we used misdirection, look over here and then,
Yes.
but which is a haunt attraction thing. Even Tom Savini said that
Okay.
as
Awesome.
he was creating it. He's like, this is a haunt kind of a device we're doing here. But one thing I was going to say though is, when you're on a movie set, it's like there's so much going on,
Okay.
and they set up the shot and this and that, and then there's that intense moment of you've got to sum it all up in that, and then it's over, and it cut, and then okay, you want a sandwich? It's like, it's a totally different environment. When
Yes.
you're working in the haunt, you keep that vibe going, and then somebody comes in, you have to size up that person too a little bit.
Yes.
Are they someone who's gonna love the scare? Are they a little timid? Or God forbid, I have a dear friend who works in a haunt, and wow, God, one day I won't say the details, but there was a football team came in
Oh
there.
no.
Yeah. And she inadvertently scared this football player so much he just bam, and wow,
Man.
she took an injury, but
Oh my God.
she's okay now.
Okay. Good. Good.
But
Good.
all I can say is, the haunter has so much responsibility in
Yes.
terms of you know so I don't think everybody out there knows that about the haunters.
Yeah.
So do you do haunts, or are you in haunts too, John? Or
So I have acted a couple of times, not like a full season, but like here and there. I mainly am covering them. Like I know about them. I know different names of places. I've interviewed the owners and I know the actors. Like I've done that many times. So
awesome.
I like cover it all.
Well, that is so wonderful. Um, there are so many amazing haunts.
Yes.
Um, I'm almost like tempted to look up in my wait. I could go over it now. Everhaunt. That's the name of
Okay.
the one. Everhaunt.
All right.
They're up there in New York State, in West New York,
Okay.
and we worked with them. They had us for Halloween weekend, and they do
Okay.
just an amazing job. Um, there's so many good ones. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. There's one that's right outside. It's called Atrox,
Yeah, I've
and
heard
that
of them. I want to go there.
that you got to check that one out. That one's near Birmingham,
Yes.
Alabama, and again, it's that haunt has been going on for so long, and a good part of what they do goes to charity.
Nice.
And again, the thing that the haunts do is that they'll open up the haunt free for certain groups. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Certain nights where they say, okay, we're going to let in people, as free. So there's so
Like
many ways that
firefighters.
the haunt can do so many good things.
Yeah, like firefighter night or like EMT night or something like that.
There you go. Or yeah, exactly. They're letting in armed service people. Yeah, exactly. And wow, I mean, the tradition of haunted houses, it's something really fascinating,
Yes, it is.
because I think that it goes back now. You had certain initiatory rites
Okay.
in different fraternal organizations.
Oh, okay.
that would remind you of a haunted house.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Then to this day, you have hell houses, which are associated with certain churches.
Yes.
I mean, do you know about this where they actually reenact like the punishment that you will
Yes.
get? You know,
Yeah, I've heard
wow.
about them. Yeah, I've heard about them. Yeah.
So I think that there's and then you just look at the history of the circus in America
Yeah.
and how the circus would be going, but it would be two things that people would love the most about the circus, and that would be the freak show
Yes.
and the dancing girls,
Yeah.
so and the freak show was almost like a traveling haunt in a
Very
way
much.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a fascinating history. Yeah. We get often, they'll have me appear as,
Okay.
Ari Lehman, rhymes with demon, the first Jason.
Yeah.
And uh well, I like to sign autographs after the haunt
Okay. Okay.
because people going in, they're so hyped up.
Yes.
They're ready to be scared. I just want to get in there and get scared.
Yeah.
And that can be good too. Sometimes I'll I remember one time I had a big animatronic Jason statue.
Oh, nice.
And well, I actually I think this customer, had to change her pants
Oh,
because
no.
she came in
Yeah.
I could see she was so scared, to
Okay.
begin
Okay.
with.
Okay.
And I'm talking to her very earnestly like this,
Yeah.
and I put my foot over there, and the Jason just leans in like this, and she screams,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was a bit mortified because I
Yeah.
didn't think that it would be so effective.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, they took her out. She
Oh,
had
no.
to be changed. She came back in and yelled at
Oh,
me.
okay. Okay.
But
That's great.
they're there to be scared. So
Yes.
I do. Yeah, at the end, it's better because then we could talk about, oh, when was the last time you saw Friday the 13th, and
Yes.
chatting with people, and oh, how was the haunt, and but it is very much fun. And I think that a word to the haunts out there, if you do have a celebrity, what you should do is make like an 8x10 or even a smaller thing,
Okay.
right, to sign, but that's a souvenir of that haunt.
Yeah, that's a good
So it might
idea.
have a picture of me in the water grabbing Alice,
Yes.
or but then it'll say, I survived House of Hell or something like
Yes.
that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good idea.
So yeah, I think, and that's easy to do.
Yeah.
And so then that way, of course, you know, I'll have some 8x10s and stuff, but this way it takes the burden off the celebrity of providing all the, because it could be hundreds of people coming through,
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's
so
true.
you want to have a stack. You want to make sure everybody gets the same thing, so someone
Yeah.
doesn't feel. And then there'll be a whole family. So give everybody gets one. Yeah, you get
Yes.
one. You get one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it's an actual thing. And then of course the ever important selfie photo,
Yes. Yes.
which is great. I mean, that I think works very well with the haunted houses. We have performed
Nice.
First Jason, as you know, we have performed at haunted houses,
Okay.
and that can, it's because again, people's energy is on the haunt.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes they've had ones where there's this long line of people going into the haunt,
Okay.
and they have a stage right there,
Yes.
and we're just rocking out. But and people are like, yeah, man, they're all into it,
Yeah.
and they show up, and some of them have had a few drinks, so they're
Yeah.
well ready to, but then they're gone, It's like
Yeah, true, true. It's not a captive
you get a couple
audience.
of times, then okay, so that can be a challenge. And
Yes.
then at other ones we've had it. Oh, there's a very good one in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
You know the one I'm talking about? I can't remember, but it's in Hershey because
Okay.
they had, and it was Frank Phobia, the guy, he's his band, and he booked it, and they have a tent. They had
Okay.
a separate tent
Okay.
for bands, and that worked out really good because
Okay.
they had a bunch of local acts, and so you know, I hear from different haunts. Some of them want to bring in bands. Some it doesn't work as well.
Gotcha. So I wanted to ask you, when you go to a haunted attraction, what would you like to see when you go to it? Like, how would you like to see Jason represented? Because I've seen Jason many times at different haunts. Like, what is like your dream way of seeing it represented at a haunt? How would you like to see it?
Well, first of all, you never see little Jason represented at the
No, you don't.
almost never.
No.
You could have a little lake, have a
Yes.
little scary lake boy come out.
Yeah.
Reminding everybody of the importance of water safety, John.
Yes.
That's um no, but as far as Jason himself, big daddy Jason, yeah, very important that the Jason actor does not speak.
Yes.
I'll even go up and I'll say, hey, and if they speak to me, I'll be, up. And I'll say, hey, and if they don't speak, I say, oh, very good. You're in character, and then I'll say something about mama and the actor's gotta love Jason.
Yes.
And Jason is very specific in terms of his body movement.
Yes.
Really, that comes from Kane Hodder,
Yes.
the great Kane Hodder, his whole breathing thing and his whole
Yes.
moving the whole body this way, that way, and just it's like he's we kind of sympathize with Jason
Yeah.
as opposed to Michael Myers
Yeah.
and Freddy. I mean,
Mhm.
Freddy is just annoying. He won't let you sleep,
Yep.
and he comes with the wisecracks. So
Yes.
I've seen some great Freddy actors at haunts, and they've got a zillion wisecracks.
Yes.
So I'm the kind of guy when I go through a haunt, I'm a laugher.
Yeah,
So
I
you
am.
guys know me. You do that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared, but I pretend not to be by laughing.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm really scared, but because I know it's all fake.
Yeah.
But I do
Let's
like
get
to
into
get
like the
into the
storyline.
mindset.
Yeah.
Like if they make it like it's an insane asylum
Yes.
or something. Ooh, and I go with it, and I'm an actor, so I'll get into
Yeah.
the character and the moment and everything,
Nice.
and they can jump up on me, and they love to because they got that little walkie-talkie. Oh, Ari's coming through,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
scare little Jason.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll rock right up to me, any little or something,
Yeah. That's
So I'll just laugh,
okay.
But okay, so if there is a Michael Myers,
Mhm.
he's just evil.
Yes.
There's no tap. There's no moral compass.
No.
He doesn't care. He's just, and it's a different thing. He's got a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever,
Yeah.
Dr. Loomis.
Yes.
Um, but Jason can't have a psychiatrist.
No.
If you put him on the couch, he would just take the couch and beat the psychiatrist with the couch.
Or like in Freddy versus Jason, he like folds the bed.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a great kill. um, yes. Among the finer kills, and which brings us to the point about Jason. Really, as I often joke, Jason is a slasher,
Yes.
but little Jason was only a splasher.
That's
because
a good one. That's a good one.
because
Yep.
and but really what I'm trying to say there is you have a horror movie
Hmm.
where there's a mystery. Who
Yep.
is the killer?
Yes.
And in the first one, it turns out to be Mama Voorhees.
Yes.
Mama is the killer. Okay. But after that, we know it's Jason, it's Jason, it's Jason. So it becomes a slasher in which it's not who is the killer, but
Hmm.
how is the killing being done.
Exactly.
So, in a way, that's very haunted house, if you
Yes.
will, because like, what is it, in a haunted house?
Mm.
You go in there and the object is to scare people, but okay, how are we going to go about that is what
Okay.
makes it interesting and fun,
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
in the best cases. And yeah, I'd love to thank you for asking me that. I mean, I've seen, okay, I've seen a couple overweight Jasons
Okay.
in the, big guys and all, okay, it's all right. I love everybody.
Yeah.
But, the character is supposed to be sort of a, you know, muscular. I mean, it was first Richard Brooker, who
Okay.
was very wiry kind of guy, and but of course, the latest Derek Mears, who's an absolute giant, again, very muscular. So it would be preferable if I've worked with some great Jason cosplayers.
Yes.
Um, there's a really good one in England. I appeared with on stage in Manchester in front of 3,000 people with first
Wow.
Jason,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, he's intimidating. He's really got that vibe of "I'm going to kill you now," which is
Like,
you
what
know.
style of Jason is he? Like, with the hockey mask? Like, what part is he? Like, which movie?
Yes, I think he's a part 7,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of one of my favorites with it's all torn up and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, with all the wounds and everything. But he's just a big mofo, and but there's a bunch of them, there's a bunch of good ones. Um, didn't we do at Love Drafts? We had wasn't
Yeah.
Sackhead Jason? Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
that was
Sad Jason represented.
Josh Josh Sackhead Jason
Yes.
from Pennsylvania, who's a wonderful guy and
Yes.
and his gal, and they always are so supportive and just wonderful people.
Yes.
And Steve Dash was about this. I would say they're about the same size.
Oh, okay.
Steve Dash, who played the Sackhead Jason.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
there's another actor who was at the end of part 2, but when we're talking about Sackhead,
Mm.
brother Sackhead, it was the great Steve Dash,
Okay.
who was tough. He wasn't
Yeah.
big though, but he was
Okay.
tough. Like, I
Okay.
like to call him, like, all the Jasons are different.
Yes.
I'm like the rock and roll Jason
Yeah.
guy, and but Steve Dash, I mean, I like to call the Goomba Jason, because he was from New York,
Oh, okay.
and he was like Ari. He was the one. He was a wonderful guy, but he was tough. Ari,
Okay.
come here. When are you gonna get a haircut already?
Okay.
You know, how do you roll like that? He liked to tease me,
Okay. Okay.
But deep down, very sweet guy. All the Jasons, very sweet people. But he would play those kind of characters. He
Okay.
was in all kinds of TV shows and cop shows, and he would play that kind of character. So, but he wasn't. He was. So if there's a shorter actor who wants to play Jason,
Mhm.
there's the option. Go with Sackhead
Okay.
and make him tough like Steve. Um, because everybody isn't a giant,
No.
but when you look at some of the toughest characters in cinema history,
Mhm.
a lot of them are shorter actors like James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart and Danny
Tom Cruise.
DeVito and or not Danny. What I meant to say Danny Trejo.
Yeah, Danny Trejo. We
Not
could do that
DeVito,
again.
although he is short.
Yeah.
No, Danny Trejo. And oh, who's the other one from No Country for Old Men? Benicio del Torres.
Oh, okay.
He's also like 5 feet tall, or
Wow, really?
yeah.
Hmm.
They just make him look big. There
Hmm.
you go.
Well, Tom Cruise, he's not tall.
There you go. I'm not very intimidated by him though.
Yeah, he's not
I don't
intimidating.
think he'd be a good Jason actor.
No.
Although he was good in, what do you call it? Oh, Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay,
Wasn't he in there?
I haven't
Was
seen
it
that.
him?
I'm not
I
sure. I
can't
haven't seen
remember.
that.
I'm probably wrong, but yeah. Um, so yes, there you go. I think that when someone plays Jason, make sure you love Jason, you know about Jason. And one thing before you ask the next question,
Mhm.
if someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, uh, I'm playing Jason this weekend, but
Mhm.
next weekend I'm doing Freddy."
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
maybe if you tell me next weekend you're doing Leatherface,
Yeah.
okay, that I can accept.
Okay.
Because those two characters, see, if ever two characters should spar in a movie, I want to say right now,
Mhm.
they should just do that. Because if
That
they
would be
do
really
a
cool.
TV series, you've heard about this TV series thing, right?
Yes. Yes, I have.
So they're talking about a prequel and all this nonsense. No. See, if anybody would want that in the world, it would be me.
Okay.
But even I don't want that
Oh
because
yeah.
do we want to see like prenatal Jason? I mean, how's embryonic? And also, no, you do a series of Jason versus Leatherface. Oh my God.
That'd be really cool.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now you've got, and they are the perfect foils for each other because they're both like you feel kind of sorry for them, but
You feel
they're
empathy. Empathy. Yeah.
killers that will never stop. So, um, because if you do a TV series again, not to go off topic, but
That's okay.
episode one,
Mhm.
there's all these people are dead.
Yes.
Oh my God, who did it?
Mhm.
Jason.
Yes.
Okay. Episode two, dead people everywhere.
Yeah.
Jason did it. So it's
Yeah.
like episode three, wait, I know who did it. Now, if you had this element of, wait a second, maybe Leatherface did the killing.
Yes.
And then Jason, pardon me, what's he doing in my, So now you got Leatherface and Jason. See, now there you
Yeah, and
go.
they're both very gritty too. Like they live in gritty areas. Like in part two, he lives in that like shack, like in the woods.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, no, yeah, in some ways they are kindred spirits. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe that's how the series will end. They join forces and look for Freddy. I don't know.
Well, they'd have a problem
Something.
with Freddy though, because he can still go in your dreams.
Yes, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. No, this is true. This is true. But as
Jason
long
was
as
the one that walked out of the lake with his head, so
yeah, well, we still don't know what happened. No,
yeah.
of course, Freddie can't be dead.
Yeah.
But well, on that note, when I was in Germany,
Okay.
not too long ago, working with Sean Cunningham,
Oh,
director
nice.
Sean Cunningham.
Yes.
So he reveals to me, and he's just talking about, to the crowd, the people there. He reveals to me and everyone there, oh, not only did I work on Jason, but
Mhm.
he was important in the creation of Freddy Krueger as well.
Oh, really
That
nice.
he and was it Wes Craven or John? I
Yeah,
think it was
Wes
Wes
Craven.
Craven.
Yes,
Yeah,
Wes.
Wes Craven, because they did Last House on the Left together. So yeah,
Um,
so he helped in the creation of Freddy Krueger. And I
interesting.
said, Sean, that's like learning I have a brother from another mother. Are you telling me you're responsible for both? And he said, yes. And yeah, the audience loved that.
Okay.
But the main thing is that everybody has fun,
Yeah.
John.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. I love the mythos and the legacy, and I love playing around with that for the message it can have. But most importantly, and this goes for rock shows, this goes for haunted attraction and movies. Fun. Make it fun, and that's the way.
What do you think of Jason scare actors when you see they don't have the right boots on? Because I've seen that.
Well,
Or they have like just sneakers.
I'm not going to snap on them like Kane would, like or CJ. Oh my
Oh,
God,
yeah,
Kane or
sick.
CJ will just immediately like, no, 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 no. You know, I'm not going to snap on them. They're also supposed to wear gloves. I mean, they have
Oh
to have
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
right gloves. The whole thing has to have a look. You know, I've seen so many now outside of haunts,
Yeah, like horror conventions, right?
and very many times.
Mm,
First, Jason will invite, the local Jason cosplayer,
yeah.
um, to get up on stage with us,
Yes.
not having ever met them before,
Okay. Yep, yep, yep.
So,
Okay.
so one time, I can't remember where this was, and this guy was big, right? And
Mm,
he was tall,
mm,
but I noticed he's got on stage and he's very, and you're like, damn,
mm,
So we're playing,
mm.
and then he was
What?
dancing, Jason. But I don't mean just a little dancing. This guy was like, whoa, whoa, and he was doing this whole like it was like I was Madonna or something.
That's
And he's doing
great.
this whole thing behind me. And at first I was like, no. But then I thought, the audience thought it was hilarious. Here's Jason as one of those real Hollywood dancers. So that only happened once though.
Okay, okay.
Usually I tell them just be still and glare.
Yeah,
That did happen.
that's
So there you go.
talking about that iconic scene where I actually have the picture right here that you gave me,
Oh,
signature.
yes.
Iconic moment here. How many times did it actually take to film that? Like, how many takes did that take? Was it like one time or did they perfect it?
Well, that's a great question because the initial sequence where the boy is drowning, okay, and I did that.
Okay.
We actually had to do that twice. They had to call me back to the set again because the first time they did that, they
Mhm.
felt the character looked too natural and people would just sympathize with him. And they
Okay.
wanted to make it a little more repulsive.
Oh,
So
okay.
they kind of made him more repulsive.
Okay.
But then, see now, they wrapped Friday the 13th
Okay.
without the final scene.
Oh, okay.
And initially, Paramount was not going to buy the movie.
Oh, wow.
This is another story that Sean told in Germany. So this is verify this.
Okay.
And then so they were stuck. They were like, we did this movie based on Halloween and
Okay.
and they won't buy it. So in essence, they had an idea. They said, well, how about that ending from Carrie
Oh,
with the hand? Like
okay.
literally. Like
Yeah.
that's what the writer was like, well, this is a cool shock ending. Why don't we do some kind of shock ending? And so, Paramount was still gonna, was ready. Okay, cool. What do you got?
Mhm.
So they wrapped in August of 1979, but
Okay.
then called me back to do the final sequence, the picture that you just showed. And
Mhm.
as you can see in that picture, it's autumn.
Yeah.
Now it's supposed to be June. It's supposed to be June because it's before the summer camp opens. And look at the
Yeah. Yeah.
so it was shot in October.
Okay.
And now when Paramount got that version,
Mhm.
they loved it and
Oh,
and
I do.
subsequently released Friday the 13th in 800 theaters across the country on the
Wow.
same day. which had never been done before.
That's
That was
impressive.
an unprecedented distribution element that I
Wow.
think a lot of people should know about, because when they say, how did Friday the 13th get to be so darn popular and so lasting? Well, as much as it has to do with the movie, and I
Yes.
think particularly this final sequence, it also has to do with the distribution. But so when I got called back, they created this more, like he had been underwater for years
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So they actually had me and Tasso Stavrakos go, the Tom Savini's assistant, and we gathered like muck,
Oh,
and
wow.
we incorporated that into the makeup in the morning.
Nice. Nice.
So it was like 4 a.m. We started, they're pouring all it, and they did the thing where they paint the blood, and
Okay.
then they put the latex on, and they
Okay.
wait for it to dry, and then they peel it. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
healing. And you can see that, a little tip for you haunters, all of Tom Savini's books are great for practical special effects.
Yes.
So, but it was Sean Cunningham
Mhm.
who grasped the moment, and he knew, how are we going to make this look real? How are we going to make this feel real?
Yes.
And he knew that the only way to do that
Mhm.
was to scare our dear Adrienne King,
Yeah.
Alice Hardy. And the only way really to scare her, now an actress is sitting there waiting for action,
Yes.
as we're talking about.
Yep.
So he said, Ari,
Mhm.
he whispered to me, he said, the cameras are rolling.
Oh, okay.
You're going to be underwater, so you're not going to be able to hear me say action,
Mm.
he said. He said, so go out in the water
Mhm.
and look up, wait for the bubbles to clear.
Oh, okay.
That's action.
Okay.
So I was like, wow. And he's like, you're the director on this. And
Wow.
perfect thing to say to a little kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, I went out and I had 5 seconds to think, how am I going to do this? Am I going to be playful about it? And
Mhm.
I just thought, my motivation is that she killed my mother.
Yes.
So I didn't wait. And Savini wasn't ready. Adrian wasn't ready. I grabbed the side of the boat. I come around like
Yeah.
this. Now, when you look at the movie,
Mhm.
they took this first take and sandwiched it between the second take,
Oh, okay.
directly answering your question, 2 takes.
Okay.
They cut the
Mhm.
first take
Mhm.
precisely when her facial expression changed from placid to because she had no idea. And she proceeded to, so she changed her facial expression.
Yeah.
Then she grabbed my arms and get them off of me. And she said, you jumped the gun. He didn't say action. He didn't say action. You jumped the gun. You messed up. Right. And I was standing there like, what should I say? I wasn't going to tell her, she was wrong. I just kind of zipped the lip kind of thing. And I just was like, oh, there's even a picture of that
Really? Oh, that's
where
awesome.
she's going like this. And I'm looking at Sean, this famous picture I autographed in
That's
between takes. People
that's
like it because
great.
it's a very clear shot. Um, and Tom Savini standing there in his waders. He's got the
Wow.
fisherman's waders on. So, yeah. So I think I scared a lot of people on the set except for Sean in that moment. So then he says, for the second take,
Okay.
just do the thing. And to Adrienne King's credit,
Mhm.
she allowed Savini basically to dunk her in the water backwards.
Wow.
So she didn't let on. I don't know if she's ever forgiven me for for just you know I'll take the blame forever. It's okay. But yeah, that's what happened. And so yeah, 2 takes. Now we got to keep in mind Tom Savini was really the creator of this Jason,
Yes.
and of course of the Jason who comes out of the water there. And it was also like a haunted house in the sense that they said, and they've often said this to me, like, don't don't show your monster too much, right?
Okay.
Like, in other words, especially in movies, when you're doing a movie, like, you don't want the fact that Jason was just there and he was gone, you
Okay.
know, or even like even throughout Friday the 13th, where we can't tell who the killer is, until finally it's, well, I mean, the first appearance of the killer, Alice runs up and hugs her. She runs up and hugs mom, says, "They killed Bill. They killed Ned. They're
Yeah.
going to kill you too."
Yeah.
And she's, "I'm not afraid," which is this wonderful thing about the first Friday the 13th
Yes.
is it has that horror element and that odd, she's hugging the killer, but also Betsy Palmer, his
Yes.
mom,
Yes.
and just her presence is so amazing. Betsy Palmer, who played my mom in Friday the 13th, had the same birth date as my mom.
Oh, wow.
And so we became like really good buddies, and she was just is still, the most amazing lady. So yeah.
This actually perfectly ties into Tom Savini with the makeup. I was
Good.
gonna ask, how long did it actually take to do that first Jason makeup?
Of course. Yep, yep, yep. So initially, Tom was in Connecticut
Okay.
where Sean had his production company.
Okay.
It was shot in Jersey. But so, and it was because I lived in Connecticut
Oh, okay.
that I got the movie, because I auditioned at the YMCA in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we got the kid. So I worked with Tom
Mhm.
Savini for maybe 4 months
Okay.
prior.
Hmm.
Because, as you guys know, the first thing they did was they cast my head, and it was so much fun for me, um, because being that age and getting to meet Tom Savini and the people
Yes.
around him and seeing that kind of creativity, uh, and just watching his whole process, and it was such an amazing thing. So uh, they cast the head, then they build the sculpt, then they cast the sculpt, then they here it is, even like they create the whole everything is created on a bust just
Yes.
like this.
Yes.
Okay, so then they have to cast that, then the glass eye. One of my eyes was a glass eye,
Yes.
and one eye was my eye.
Okay.
And then there were false teeth as well, false teeth. So Tom had to fit those, and we waited, and we had to do that. And then um, on the set itself, it would take about 4 hours.
Wow.
So yeah, no, I mean, Tom, they really built it up, just like the old style. So Lon Chaney taught Dick Smith. Dick Smith taught Tom Savini.
Okay.
So they're using the real old fashioned style, except we used alginate and not latex. Which was
Oh,
easier to use. So
okay.
that was a thing in 1980, 1979 when we made the movie, 1979. So yeah, so the first time they did it,
Mhm.
okay, I was in there. It's at the summer camp.
Okay.
It's now the storage room behind the kitchen,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was there, like, laboratory, inner sanctum. So
Yeah.
so Tom had he had this big mirror and a barber chair.
Okay.
And he also had busts of Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi and Vincent
Nice.
Price and a pet chinchilla.
Oh yeah.
So um so that first time was very, very intense because they wanted me to get motivation for the character. So they
Okay.
said, okay, you're they didn't let me see any of it at
Okay.
first.
Okay.
I was facing away from the mirror. So
Okay.
then they were done and they said, we're going to leave and we're going to turn you around so you can see yourself in the mirror.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it was really early in the morning. So there's
Oh,
nobody there.
oh no.
It's like, you could just hear tweet, tweet,
Yeah.
just the beginning of the, so it's very eerie kind of feeling. And they turn it around. They said, count to 10.
Okay.
And I opened my eyes and I was like, who's in the room with me? Like literally, I thought, who is that? And then I realized it was me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And I literally went just stared. And then, oh, how could they do this to him? And then, oh, get a little anger. And so, yeah, it was very effective. They knew little Ari, you know, and I'm still like this, whenever we approach a creative task,
Mhm.
and this goes for Haunt as well.
Yeah.
If you want everything to go right, get
Yes.
the feeling. If you get the feeling, then your body movements and your way you speak and everything about you is going to be right.
Yes.
Because if you have a feeling about something, you don't think, I'm going to put my left foot here and right foot here and go over and punch that guy. No, you just bam, it's like if you're overcome with a feeling. So, not that we should ever do that, but
No.
I'll just say, you know what I'm saying. It's that
Yeah.
you don't think it out. You just, so if you can infuse yourself with a feeling, and then the rest will happen. So, yeah. So
That's a
he
good
he
story.
he, they did help me really, and working with Tom Savini, everybody in the haunt business should grab Tom's books because he has a bunch of books that are going to be super helpful for any practical special effects person.
Definitely.
The other thing is you can also go to Tom Savini's school in Pittsburgh. There's
Yes.
a
Yes.
5-week course that he does, and just about everybody I know who's come out of there has gone on to do something in the industry. So, um, you know, it's always good to have those skills, and as I say, it's coming from a good legacy.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen videos of like tours of his school and it looked really good.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's very comprehensive. He's definitely teaching everybody the skills they need to have. To once you're out, you're ready to go. Out of that. They even help people look for work in the business. Yeah,
Really nice.
it's a good thing. And of course, Tom was the first person who told me, "Hey, you should go." What did he say? Go up to Niagara Falls where they have all these great haunt attractions. I think he was talking about Everhaunt and all those, which
Okay.
is right near Buffalo.
Okay.
And but yeah, he's always been big. I think he had his own haunted house, or I know he sold effects for
Yes.
haunted houses.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's
Hmm.
really
Oh,
cool.
oh yeah. Super cool. He's an icon. He's a legend.
Absolutely.
Yes. So now I want to talk about First Jason, your band. I want to talk about that.
Well,
So
thank you.
yes. So I got to see you play live this year and I had a great time. Everyone there was having a great time. It was very fun. And something that was very unique about your performance as opposed to other rock bands is you play a keytar and you play it very well, by the way.
Thank you, John.
And when did you actually start playing that? Like, when did you think I want to play keytar instead of electric guitar?
I am the evil wizard of Keytar,
Yes.
and I'm proud to be that. Keytar demon, Ari Lehman. Well, I had been playing jazz piano,
Oh, okay.
and I was already studying jazz piano when I was on the set of Friday the 13th.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I went to school for.
Okay.
I was a jazz piano major.
Okay.
And if you had told me at that time that I would be playing heavy metal songs about Jason Voorhees on a heavily distorted guitar, I
Yeah.
would have said, no way, man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about life. You never know. Um,
Yes.
so for a while, I worked in the world music biz, which was like reggae, African music. I got to play with some of the top reggae artists and African artists. I even went to West Africa to
Wow.
the Ivory Coast, yeah, with Reggae
Awesome.
Sunsplash tour. So I was already doing a lot of different ideas and different sounds, but I had friends who were in metal.
Okay.
I had a good buddy who was in the band Reagan Youth, and
Okay.
he would take me to see things at CBGBs and different things. I got to see the Ramones. I saw the Bad Brains. I saw White Zombie. So, because I went to New York University,
Okay.
but still I was a jazz dude, you know. And then I had reggae album,
Okay.
okay, and it was around the time that I was kind of came back from touring with the African thing, and uh, Tony Timpone from Fangoria magazine
Okay.
hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, he gave me an interview,
Yeah.
and then somebody emailed me and said, "Hey, did you autograph this 8x10?" And I said, "What? I've never autographed an 8x10." And he said, "But aren't you Ari Lehman, the
Yeah.
guy who played the little Jason in Friday the 13th?" I said, "Yes, I am." And so, long story short, it turned out someone was forging my autograph,
Oh, no.
and we found that person who said it was third party. He was helping by returning money to people. But
Yeah.
it dawned on me, wow. So what's all this about?
Mm.
So Tony invited me to Fangoria Con, which
Nice.
was at the Meadowlands,
Okay.
and there was thousands of people there. And I had my CDs of my reggae music,
Okay. Okay.
and it's the horror scene, and you
Yeah.
got these metalheads and
Yeah.
punks,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they were very nice to me. They said, "Man, we don't listen to reggae too much, but that's a pretty good album there, and they were very nice,
Okay. Okay. Nice.
so but then I thought, bing bong, why don't I try to hit them where they live? Now, easier said than done,
Yeah.
transitioning from being primarily a jazz reggae musician. So I got a lot of help
Okay.
from a friend of mine who had played with the Cro-Mags in New York City and on drums,
Okay.
and he was called Cleaver,
Okay.
and a friend of mine who played with Macabre in Chicago. Macabre, the murder metal band,
Mm.
who have songs about Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff like that. An amazing band everybody should listen to. Nefarious from Macabre, they're on tour right now, by the way. I think they're in
Oh,
Toronto this weekend. Um, they had a little hiatus. So
okay.
Nefarious came over and kind of mentored me a little bit,
Oh, okay.
helped
Okay.
me kind of direct the stuff. I was doing covers, and he said, screw doing those covers. Like I was doing Danzig, I would sing Mother to the head of Pamela Voorhees, which is a
Nice.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, he's like, you can write. And he also said, you're a keyboardist. You've got to bring that keyboard into the band. He said, if that's the last thing I do in this band, because he had to go back to Macau because they were going to tour
Okay.
again.
Okay. Okay.
He said, so it just so happened one day, I can't remember, it was the bass player or the guitarist couldn't make it.
Okay.
So I I had been at a horror convention. This
Okay.
is the kookiest thing. I was like, how am I going to make a little synthesizer
Okay.
into a guitar? Because I
Okay.
didn't want to play like this. I was
No.
like, if I'm gonna, you know,
Yeah.
for some reason, I found this manga. Oh, I think I even have one here. Yeah, this is one of the first,
Oh wow.
this giant manga sword.
Oh wow.
Okay. And you see here, I duct taped the synthesizer to this.
Oh, okay.
This was one of the first ones. Then
Okay.
we had one that really looked very much like a machete.
Okay.
Anyway, I duct taped the synthesizer to these prop machetes,
Okay. Okay.
and it was a thing. So as time passed, we did the first record, Jason is Watching, with those two musicians, and that's our songs. Jason Never Dies, Sink or Swim,
Okay.
Machete is My Friend. Jason is Watching. A lot of the songs that people love and we love, and it was very straight from the hip kind of album,
Yeah.
and that got well received. Now it took time for me to really find my sound as a rock musician, as a metal musician, but that community was so welcoming to me.
That's awesome.
They had open minds and open hearts and open ears, because I was definitely, being a keyboardist, coming from a different place, as you've seen.
Yes.
Now, the show that I have together now that you saw,
Mhm.
I feel I've got my sound,
Yes.
and I
Definitely.
thank you. And I feel that at first I was reluctant to make the guitar the center focus,
Okay.
but in many ways I realized that that's what I'm doing, that's different.
Yes.
And by playing a different instrument in that way, I don't know, there's so much fun. I mean, I also think maybe, we're making a little change in some ways, but whatever it is, it's become so much fun. And so a band called Incantation,
Okay.
who was a thrash metal band, John McKenty, he said, come over and play at the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
And then, okay, then Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills said, hey, can you sing on one of my songs?
Yes.
And I said, of course. So I sang on Thank God It's Friday,
Yes.
acoustic version.
Yes.
And so then he sang on The Scapegoat.
Okay.
So we have, if you look on YouTube,
Mhm.
First Jason, The Scapegoat,
Yeah.
Spencer Charnas is singing on that. And
Awesome.
then, okay, that helped us. We then met up with the band Twisted,
Okay.
from that whole, Juggalo kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
They
about.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
their own branch of that scene, and they do a show called Astronomicon. They asked
Yes.
us to,
Yes. Yes.
and then they did a song with us called "Killing It." It's a hip hop track.
Okay.
Okay, and so Alex Vincent from Chucky
Okay.
did the track, and
Oh, okay.
then Courtney Gaines, who played Malachi in Children of the Corn, does a verse.
Okay.
Twisted does a double verse, and then Tim Capello, the sax player from the Lost Boys,
Oh,
is
okay. Okay.
on that too.
I have to
So
look at this. I haven't heard this yet.
that's on Spotify, killing it.
Okay.
Please check it out. And now, just as of yesterday,
Okay.
we are releasing a new compilation entitled "Killing It,"
Okay.
which has a whole bunch of our new songs, and that also has "Kill for Mother" and "Voorhees is the Name" and "The Scapegoat" and "The Price of Peace" and "Barbalian" and a bunch of songs that people really love, as well as "Killing It." And the artwork that Crumpy did for this is just out of this world. So
Is that the one that
yeah,
you're sharing on Instagram now? Is that the new artwork?
exactly.
That looks really
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist, and we're that's the artwork's on your shirt is by
Oh yeah,
Crumpy.
this?
Yeah,
Okay, he does great work.
he's just a great artist. So yeah, that's the trajectory of the whole thing.
Okay.
So what we really do mainly is to play in small clubs, just like Love Drafts. We love
Yeah.
doing that. we did play for 3,000 people in Manchester. Last Halloween, we had a capacity crowd. They had to turn people away at Frightmare in the Falls. That was in Niagara Falls. We'll
Nice.
also be back up at the 420 Expo in Niagara Falls on 420.
Nice.
But we love playing at small events, big events everywhere. And now we're doing a thing which is like a movie night
Okay.
where we play and everybody has a few drinks and stuff.
Okay.
Then I intro the film
Okay.
and we do a comedy commentary as we
Okay.
all watch the film together.
Okay.
And we do a trivia game and a drinking game, and then
Okay.
we do a big meet and greet. So that's kind of like Friday the 13th movie night with First Jason kind of thing,
Is
bringing
that
it
in
all
Blairstown?
together. Hmm?
Is that in Blairstown when you do that?
No, no, no. We've got it scheduled now. We're going to be doing that up in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, coming up. You just go to firstjason.com calendar.
Okay.
But now that you're mentioning Blairstown, we're going to be there on Friday the 13th of September.
Nice.
And that's more of a you're in the movie night
Yes.
because that's the actual
Film.
diner for
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. Any fans should really try to come to that. That's we're going to have First Jason performing, and dinner in the diner with Jason. And I also have a line of hot sauces. We're going to be doing a tasting that night. So
Okay.
yeah, slasher sauce.
Nice.
So that shows you how far it's come. And I every single day I am absolutely very, very grateful for the encouragement and the enthusiasm and just meeting the fans. I love meeting people. I realize it's about Jason Voorhees, and it's bigger than all of us, but
Yeah.
but being a part of that myth and mythology to
Yes.
me is such a thrill. I have so much fun with it.
Yeah. It is really awesome.
Thank you.
What is your favorite modern day horror movie that you've seen that actually impressed you?
Well, that would be Terrifier and Terrifier 2.
Yes.
Um, I think that Damien and David and that team, I admire them a lot. Uh, I think they went to great length to show the practical effects, character building, um, lighting, angles, and the use of improvisation.
Mhm.
David is so good. He's just so great that that's what we would always go to a horror movie because of the actor in it.
Yes.
Ron Chaney had him. That's why you're going. Okay, Bo, I'm going. So David is kind of like that in so many
Yes.
ways. He's like, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the famous scene with the sunglasses in part
Yes.
two is totally improvised.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, from Q&As, I heard that.
I mean, he's,
That's a great scene. Yeah.
you just gotta, and wow, just so if any, now there's many that deserve mention, but I think that not only for the effects, but also for their immense success in the distribution of the film. I mean, you
Oh yeah,
gotta
they did
end it.
really well.
And they're doing part 3 now, which is
Yeah.
he's gonna ruin Christmas now.
Yes, exactly. Well,
Oh
yeah, when they
well.
did that with Silent Night, Deadly Night, they ruined Christmas, and the parents didn't like that.
Oh yeah, well. They've done dirt to Christmas too many times, but I'm sure that this is gonna be a whole new take on it.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. In part 2, people often say they like part 1 because of just the way that it was so shocking. But
Yes,
what I love about part 2, it's like they're taking that same scenario, but
yes,
in different locations.
exactly.
Like, what would he do at a school? What
Yes.
would he do in a workplace? What would he do in a home? Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely genius. You know, you got to remind yourself it's a movie. And
Yeah.
that's when you know it's good.
Yeah. I went to the theater and supported it.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah. That's that's the best way. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And you know, more power to them.
Yes.
No, definitely.
So my last question for you is, out of all the props and masks you've seen of Jason, I bet you've seen tons over all these years of horror conventions. What really stood out to you? Like was like the most screen accurate to you? Like where was it where you saw that?
The most screen accurate. Hmm. Gosh, you're putting me on the spot, man. Because I would have to remember. Oh, yeah. Um, well, I had a friend from Tennessee who
Okay.
was really good at making them. I'm trying to remember. Um, 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 oh, and there was these two brothers who are also really good at. I can't remember the names of these guys.
Okay.
I wish I could. You know, there's some amazing um mask creators, you know, as goes without saying. I can't particularly remember a specific one
Okay.
off,
Okay.
and then again, I wouldn't want to give, because if I say them, the other guys gonna say, "Hey, man, what about me?" So
Yeah.
I think that everybody should celebrate, okay, these different versions of the mask. What
Yes.
is it that's so fascinating about that? It's that each one reflects a different episode, a different character. Now, maybe one mask that I always thought, and one costume,
Mhm.
maybe, you know, instead, that I always thought was very impressive,
Yes.
but didn't really get enough love,
Okay.
is the Uber Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason X.
I love Uber Jason. You know, I mean, he's like a robot version of Jason, a
Yeah.
futuristic Jason.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, obviously, absolutely preposterous,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but wonderful in itself. So let's hear it for Uber Jason in part 10. In part 10, X Jason X, they said, I mean, it's got arguably the greatest kill with the
Oh
liquid
yeah.
hydrogen,
Yeah, that
liquid
was a great kill.
nitrogen. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And but also, I don't know if everyone knows this, that they were going to jettison Jason out into space, and he was going to be just like floating through space. But then Kane Hodder said no. He said
I'm
no,
not
we're not.
surprised he said no to that.
No Jason floating through space. So there you go.
Yeah.
I would say everybody be as creative as possible. One guy would take our first Jason image or image of my face, and he would digitize it onto a Jason mask. That was pretty
Oh,
amazing,
wow. That's really impressive.
but not screen actor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool though. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask you where did you get that like the Jason mixed with the Candyman, like that shirt you're wearing at Love Dress? Where did you get that? Because that's really cool.
I got that at the Horror House
Okay.
here in Chicago on Belmont.
Oh, okay.
That artist is fantastic. I have several shirts that he did.
Okay.
He did another Candyman shirt, which is amazing, which is this giant bee with a hook. It's like
Oh, okay, okay.
mind blower. I wish I could remember his name too, but yeah, the Horror House.
Cool.
That's
Okay.
on Belmont in Chicago, and they have amazing T-shirts. But thank you for remembering that. The one he's talking about, viewers,
Yes.
it's a giant Jason mask, but it looks like a beehive.
Yes, it's very cool.
It's got bees and honey and all that stuff. And I love bees. I have a bee tattoo right here that
Oh,
I
wow.
got in Manchester, England, after we
Okay.
did For the Love of Horror, because
Oh,
that's the
nice.
symbol of Manchester, England.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I love bees. So, yeah, that's a great shirt.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for talking to me. I had a great time talking to you all about Jason and the legacy of it. You are a horror icon as the first Jason, so thank you very much for talking to me. And
Thank
tell
you.
everybody where you can see first Jason and meet you potentially a
Oh,
convention.
yeah.
Anything.
Well, thank you. We'll be at the Atlanta Tattoo Con. We're going to be at Boggs Social and Supply. That's coming up next weekend. We're going to be at another round in Richmond, Virginia. We're going to be at uh all these places. We're going to be in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania at Root Down Brewery. Just check out firstjason.com calendar. If you're in Canada, we'll be at the 420 Expo in Niagara Falls. Um, and all kinds of stuff. But this has been a wonderful interview. And
Thank
to
you.
all the haunters out there, more power to you.
Yes,
I think that the challenges that you face are perhaps more than the average actor faces on a given day. So you should know that I recognize that, and that it's all about theater, and just get that feeling and get out there and scare the pants off everybody.
exactly.
And make sure you watch Haunt Informer.
Thank you. So
Okay.
until next time, happy hauntings.